Hi, welcome to Sugar Free. This is a one-off all signs reading on the topic of A versus B. I've seen other readers call this you versus them, and maybe it is that, but this is about conflict, essentially. Something that can arise between two or more parties. So we're going to have a look at that. I'm using the Major Arcana of the ancient Italian tarot here. And these four piles here are the minor arcana of the Rider-Waite split into its suits. So I'm going to pull 3 from the major arcana and then clarify those 3 cards with 1 from each suit of the minor arcana. And what I'm planning to do is to get 3 big picture energies at the end using the major arcana of the Rider-Waite here to sort of cap off each part of this reading. I've shuffled these for hours and hours and hours, learning a mantra from YouTube, chanting it over and over and over again, the Hanuman mantra. I can't remember it now. It's about removing fear. And there are several mantras about that. Anyway, one last shuffle. Everything is like thoroughly shuffled. One last shuffle of the major arcana, and we'll crack on with this. So 3 piles. There we go. Okay, we've got the Sun in reverse. Got the High Priestess. And we've got the World in reverse. Okay. Well, there's nothing new under the sun, is there? The roots of this conflict are ancient. They've been around this cycle of the world again and again and again. The High Priestess here, there's an inevitability about this. It is written. There it is in the book on her lap. It is written. And that's come up in the middle column here is just absolutely underpins the whole reading. Sun in reverse, the immediate energy we're coming in with here is a really uncomfortable, unresolved matter, clearly. Okay, but it's really sad because there is a deep sadness in this for me today, because there is no good reason that these two should not be happy, that there should not be union, that there should not be happy, easy togetherness and like a shared vision and, an understanding and a bond of trust here. There's no good reason that this is on its head, apart from that's the way it came out, because that's the way it is right now. There is no trust. Bonds are broken. Broken promises here. Beautiful promise. The endless promise of the sun. I mean, it's not endless because nothing is. But, it might as well be, for our purposes on this earth, might as well be endless. So let's start clarifying. Where am I going to go first? I mean, this first position here is things as we see them, things as they are now. This is the underpinning, the underbelly, the shadow, the unseen, the kind of what's going on around the back of the karmic curtain, so to speak, here in the middle. And this is like your upshot, bigger picture energy. This is very interesting for me because, all right, the phrase that's coming to me here is, it's not the end of the world. All right. Now, the world being the end of the cycle, it's not the end of the world. But I'm seeing this in both directions, meaning that it will go on. You know, life will go on in a sense. But also I'm seeing it retrospectively again. This has happened again and again. And this is as old as ever. It's as old as the knowledge in that book. It's as old as that. I'm going to go here first, you know. I do now take reversals in the minor arcana section. I didn't for a while, but now I do. Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, this is minor arcana Empress energy. This is almost like the bigger picture for me today. Like underneath all this, underneath this this enmity, sorry, this state of being enemies and this like bonds broken asunder. This is rumbling on underneath it all in this unstoppable way. Like I said, it's not the end of the world. You know, the Queen of Pentacles is the endless fructification of sort of worldly matters to do with power, wealth, earning, spending, all of that kind of trading stuff and the kind of worldly pulling power. Okay, it's just here. It's not affected by this. And in a sense, part of why the world doesn't work very well, and we really do know it doesn't work very well, it's not only the world that doesn't work. I mean, you know, a lot of it does. Most people rub along perfectly well with each other, like day in, day out. But you've got these fault lines, haven't you? There's all these fault lines running through things. And, you know, it could be said that the reason for those fault lines is that this is not honored. This is the underbelly. This is the kind of, you know, the life force that dare not speak his name, the knowledge that dare not speak its name, the endless regeneration. This is Shakti. And the ignorance of that, like, it takes us further and further away from being able to live well, because this is life itself. This is existence itself. And it's absolutely unaffected by all this. I'm going to go here now. Oh. Five of Pentacles in the reverse. Well, someone wants to come in from the cold. There's a wish here to come in from the cold. I mean, the Five of Pentacles is quite a complex card in and of itself, because there's no good reason. As I said, there's no good reason for this, and there's no good reason for them to walk past and not go in and get some shelter. But there's a wish here. So what I'm saying, the fact that there's no good reason means that they're walking past by choice, because they just think they should. They think it's the right thing to do, because they're paupers and cripples and beggars. So they don't go in. They're not, it's not their natural environment. That warmth that you can see is inside that building, because it's all lit up. So there's warmth in there, there's light, there's warmth, there's succor, there's comfort. But they don't take it, and that's on them, I'm afraid. It is. It is, because no one would turn them away. I mean, they might like put a scented handkerchief up to their nose, but they wouldn't turn them away. I'm going to have to read. I'm going to read on now on this column, because this is so powerful. I'll leave this for now. But I need to understand why this Five of Pentacles is in the reverse. My first instinct is that there's a wish here to change the power dynamic or that the power dynamic is on its head, because this power dynamic, it's all about power, isn't it? I mean, all conflict is about power. But the only power they think they've got is to not go in. All right, it's the card of the eating disorder, where you assert your poverty of power is such that the only thing you can do is make yourself suffer more. All right, that's what this card is, but it's on its head, so it's very complex. Let's read on. Okay, one from the Wands. Four of Wands. Well, there's that portal card again. Page of Swords. Swift, perhaps a little clumsy communication. I'm getting a kind of scattered energy off that today. And the Three of Cups. All right. There's a resistance here in this Five of Pentacles in the reverse. There's a resistance to address the imbalance of power that is inherent in whatever conflict it is that's brought you here. There's an imbalance of power, but it's really complex. And in something's got kinked up in the pipework here of this connection, which is why the Sun is in reverse here, because this is beautiful. You know, the Four of Pentacles and the Three of Cups. This is absolutely lovely. This is congeniality. This is a coming together of equal things to create a new structure here in the Four of Wands. And, you know, this is certainly the Page of Swords, a willingness to communicate. Definitely. Definitely. But there's something here gumming up the works. And it's this matter of it's something to do with the perception within the self and on the part of the other. There's some mismatch of perception about who is deserving of what in this setup, and it's blocking this. I mean, all this is here and it's all possible, and sort of literally underneath this, the Sun in reverse and the Five of Pentacles in reverse, is this lovely, like celebratory rather, Four of Wands, Three of Cups. And, you know, this is not a kind of solo thing. This is about coming together. This is about unification and the sharing of good things, basically. And in the middle of it all is, as I say, I mean, you know, yeah, perhaps a bit clumsy. It's a page. You know, so it's like early days type thing. It's early days communication, but this has to be looked at, because this Five of Pentacles in reverse, this mishmash of perception of deservingness or not. And I was talking about the whoever would sort of be on the door of this place, if these two people thought fuck it, you know, let's go in and get some soup, you know, and sit in the warm for a little while. You know, never mind the fact that we're beggars and paupers and cripples. Let's go in. Let's go in. We'll be fine there. And I said, you know, people might hold a scented handkerchief up to their nose, but they would let them in. But there's something going on there about judgment. Judgment's not on the table. But there's something about how we judge each other, and whether we view each other as human, really. I mean, you know, there but for the grace of God go we all. You know, and who is any of us to judge the worthiness of another? Who is any of us to judge that? And there's no judgment about that here. There's no, and when I say judgment, I am being very distinct from discernment, because we can discern this and we can discern that. That's just about parsing facts. Parsing as in Parsing, just like pulling out the salient bits of things and looking at them for what they are and seeing how they form part of the bigger picture. That's discernment. What I'm talking about here is something to do with judgment. When we judge and when we look at another and we say, oh, look at that person who is in this, that, or the other condition. And then we say, oh my God, that's disgusting. And then we say, you know, and it probably is just on a visceral, physical level. You know, if we go back to the metaphor of the smell, you know, requiring the scented handkerchiefs, welcoming in these poor benighted creatures into the church for a bit of, succor, a bit of comfort. So, yeah, that's a kind of visceral reaction. And, you know, that's quite subtle. But judgment takes place when we look at somebody like that and we kind of leverage and weaponize our distaste for their condition by saying to ourselves or to others, I would never get like that. I would never be like that. I would never behave like that. I would never do that. That is judgment. And that's a whole different story. And it is pernicious in the extreme. And it absolutely breaks bonds. And I mean, apart from anything else, it's factually, it's just like technically a ridiculous thing to say. Because how can any of us know the full motives of another and the full kind of, you know, what's kind of driving them to act in whatever way they act? How can any of us fully divine that in order to say, if I was in that situation, I wouldn't do that. I would do better than that. How can any of us say that with any accuracy at all? And that's why judgment, and it's so easy to do. It's so easy to do, especially when we're riled up. And, you know, we might well be riled up by their actions. But, you know, anyway, lecture over for now. I'm going to move on. Let's carry on from the Queen of Pentacles. Let's get one from the Wands. Yeah, look at that. 7 of Wands in reverse, dropping the defenses. This might be the pivotal card of the reading. And also the futility, I would say, here in the 7, because the 7 of Wands is all about kind of defensiveness and to a certain degree sort of unnecessary efforts in that endeavor, because, you know, he's up on the high ground. He's got the high ground. So it's like, why is he like, oh, like doing all his big man bit? But what I'm seeing in the reverse today is just the futility of trying to stop this. You know, I mean, look at this. We've got a high priestess. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. We've got the cosmic knowledge here, the jnana, the gnosis, the knowledge. It all roots back into Sanskrit. Here we've got the unstoppable like cycle, the unstoppable inhalation and respiration, and the pauses in between those two things here of the life cycle, the endless cycle. And as I say, the fructification of things. And you think you can stop it with that? That alarm is, sorry, there's an alarm going off outside. You might be able to hear it. It's just like laughable, mate. It's laughable. So I'll show Queen Shakti. It's like, yeah, sure you will. 3 of Swords, letting the swords fall out, letting them fall out. turning the broken heart upside down and letting those swords fall out. And not keeping them there to go fucking septic. Oh my God. Well, okay, Ten of Cups in the reverse. Well, you know, it's not a dream, this stuff, this High Priestess energy and this Queen of Pentacles energy. This is realer than this fucking shit. This is where it's at. Like, why resist it? The Three of Swords in the reverse, you know, we are all in the same boat, so to speak. You know? And as such, with like the ultimate interdependence of all things, which is why life is what it is, because everything is connected. That's how it grows, by connecting. And it's all written out there in that book. You know, we are all subject to that, all of us. And as such, no one of us, or one group of us, or one like tribe of us gets to experience this, and other people for some reason don't. There's no like winner here, and there's no loser. There's no winner and no loser. We are already over the flipping rainbow. We're already there if we did but know it. World in reverse. Two of Pentacles in the reverse. Okay, well, all right. Now, I said about the world going backwards and forwards and me seeing this like for the present and going forward and retrospective, but there's a change in direction here. There's a change in direction here, and there's a coming down on one side or the other. There is. And that's why this conflict, whatever it is that's brought you to this reading, that's why this conflict is so important. Because there's a kind of, I don't know, maybe there's a split in energy here. Because in the Two of Pentacles, you know, it just goes round and round and round. This endless like infinity symbol of this or that, this or that, this or that. You know, you need these two things in order for that movement to happen. Yeah, if you're going to like be pentacly in the world, you've got to have something to exchange for something else. That's what the Two of Pentacles is telling us. It's about that proto sort of exchange of energy, of gifts, of goods, trade. That's how it all works, and that's what brings the world together. But here, both of them are on their head. Let's keep going. Well, more dropping of defenses. Nine of Wands in the reverse now. That's even, I mean, he's not even expending much energy on it. He's that defended. I mean, this young whippersnapper here in the Seven of Wands in the reverse, you know, he's like putting on a good show, but he's in the reverse. This one ain't even bothered with that. He's just got his fence and he's bloody sticking with it, or is he? Because it's in the reverse. Let's keep going. Five of Swords and the Knight of Cups. So often the Knight of Cups turns up as like the final word. This is diplomacy. This is someone making some sort of diplomatic move. The energy is extremely fast moving here. Extremely. I see stalemate here in the Two of Pentacles in the reverse. I see a stalemate leading to a kind of an opening, right? Here in the Nine of Wands in the reverse, there's an opening, there's a possibility here for some space to open up in this situation. Because when there's a stalemate, in a sense, a stalemate is like a sort of a truce, isn't it? And I mean, between two parties, conflict can be started. The actions that begin a conflict will begin on one side. And, you know, if the reaction on the other side to that action is a negative one, then conflict ensues. That's how it works. But I'm seeing it stopping here. I'm seeing it stopping here. And I'm seeing, I don't know. I mean, the Five of Swords is always a bit, there's something well pernicious about this energy, about people sort of seeking to profit from a conflict. There's a sort of mercenary attitude here. But I mean, in this card, it's after the fact, because the battle's over. But we've got this dude going around like picking up all the swords, trying to make it look like he was valiant. And I mean, these two dudes here are just too bloody exhausted and traumatized to do anything about it. But and there's something sort of jaggedy about this energy. I wonder if these are sort of two possible. No, okay. Listen, the kind of foot on the brake of this conflict is quite weak. It's more like a foot hovering over the brake. But, you know, if the foot's hovering over the brake and applying the brakes is a good idea, then fucking good thing too. I'd rather it was over the brake than over the accelerator. And this is volatile today for me, this Five of Swords here. There's this kind of, I mean, a pot goes on boiling for a little while after you turn the you know, if you take the flame, just stop and it stays hot for. Okay, stop changing it. So yeah, the video froze. I was just at the stage basically of saying I was just getting ready to pull some Rider-Waite Major Arcana to cap this off. Excuse me. I was just saying here that a pot doesn't stop boiling immediately, and it certainly doesn't go cool immediately when you take the heat out of it. But that's what I see happening here, the heat being reduced here in the Two of Pentacles in the reverse and the Nine of Wands in the reverse. And diplomacy, the possibility for diplomacy opens up, but there is still this element of volatility around and kind of risk about this. Because I tell you what, I mean, these are not direct metaphors, obviously, but I'm just drawing sort of metaphorical energy from the cards. If one of these dudes in the background here who did actually fight, who was actually instrumental in the outcome of this battle, if one of them happens to turn around and see what this one's doing, there might be trouble. So tempers are still running high, basically, amidst the exhaustion and the kind of this sort of vein of sort of passive deceitfulness. Because, I mean, if one of these did turn around and say, oh, what do you think you're doing? But to this one, he could say, oh, I'm just trying to tidy up or something. You know what I mean? There's something a bit sneaky about this, bit sneaky. So, yeah, temper's still running high, but the possibility for diplomacy definitely exists. Right, let's get something from the Major Arcana of the Rider-Waite just to get, I'll tell you what, maybe I'm just going to pull one. I'm just going to pull one from this Major Arcana. I'm just going to put the deck here. I'm going to split it. I'm going to take this one. Yeah, look, Judgment in the reverse. This is not over, okay? It's not over, but I'm seeing that as a kind of a good thing in this situation, I have to say. And what was like that, all that whole diatribe I gave, well, not diatribe, like monologue about judgment. This is the key to it. This is the key to the way forward. This is the key, and the coloring so similar here. Like these bodies are the same color as this horse. This is the key to it, non-judgment. And non-judgment takes compassion, and it takes humility. And it takes kind of really tapping into reality. Because the truth of it is none of us is in a position to judge, which is why it's a flipping angel doing it here and not a person. None of us is in a position to judge others. And in a way, we sort of long for this. We long for this angel to come and kind of put everything to rights and say what's right and what's wrong, and get all the old like ledgers out. And when I say that, I'm seeing that book again. Get all the old ledgers out, all the old accounts, and like get it all kind of reconciled. Nope, not this time. And this is to do with being human, all right, and not an angel. This is to do with being human. We're not superhuman. We are partly divine, it has to be said. And that is, you know, because we can conceive of good and evil, and we can conceive of past and future, and we can do whatever we do to try to rearrange those things. Let's put it that way. But we can conceive of them. So there is a divinity within us, but we're also animals, and that's part of the magic of the human condition. We've got this incredibly finite system, the animal meat suit, with its limited time and its limited capacities and its unreasonable drives. We've got all that, but we are also able to kind of touch the mind of angels, which is the whole way we managed to think them up in the first place, mate. Yeah, we are partly divine, and but only partly. And that's why judgment, you know, when we judge, we're kind of using the kind of negative divinity within us when we judge others, when we assume the position of this entity here, the angel of judgment. When we assume that, we become the angel of death, my dears. We do, dear viewer, dear listener, we become the angel of death, and as such, we become demonic when we judge. And you know, never mind the histrionics of it, what I'm saying there. You know, bottom line is we just don't bloody know the fullness. We can never ever plumb the depth and the full extent of somebody else's reasons for behaving as they have, not in their particulate qualities, but what we can understand. And the key to non-judgment is understanding that whatever someone or an entity or a group has done, they were trying to make themselves feel better. And when people try to make themselves feel better by acting in destructive ways, then, you know, it's more mercy and the kind of the democracy of human weakness to be tapped upon than judgment. Right, listen, I'm going to stick these films together and leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope that was helpful, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.